What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Just Greg. Why is it just Greg? Because, well, Beth isn't here, so you've got just me. Thanks for joining. This is the first episode that I've done. We're going to do these. I'm going to do these, a few times a week, maybe something like that, 2-3 times. I don't know. Whenever a good story comes up, I'll drop it out for you. That way you can either like it, not like it, but go out and subscribe to The Bar is Open. This show will remain on The Bar is Open channel, so that's pretty cool. Beth will feed me stories and then say, go talk about them. That's kind of the idea anyway. So while Beth's downstairs getting wrangled by the dogs, I'm going to tell you guys a story. This story is probably going to piss you off. So just yesterday and today, you may have heard of PNut the Squirrel and Fred the Raccoon. Yeah, that is going ultra viral right now. So with that, I want to show you a video real quick of the owner of PNut and see if it pisses you off as much as it pisses me off. What a great way to start a new podcast, right? Awesome. Let's watch it.
Learned that they have euthanized PNut.
And the raccoon as well.
And the raccoon as well. I am so sorry. This must be really difficult for you.
It not only tears my family apart, but PNut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. And 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I was sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom. I wasn't even allowed to feed my rescue horses breakfast or lunch. I was sat there like a criminal. After they interrogated my wife to check out her immigration status, then proceeded to ask me if I had cameras in my house, then proceeded to go through every cabinet, nook, and cranny of my house for a squirrel and a raccoon.
They got a search warrant?
They got a search warrant. 4 departments and a judge signed off on a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. And then they took them and killed them.
Why did they go through all that to get a search warrant for an animal that had been with you very safely, and the world witnessed this for 7 years? Why now suddenly did they show up with a search warrant and take these animals?
We haven't a clue. We don't know who made the complaints. Again, PNut was an indoor squirrel, not harming anybody. He's been with us for 7 years. Not a single complaint was ever filed for this animal. We had him for 7.5 years. He became the world's most famous squirrel. We weren't hiding him by any means. He was all over TikTok. He became the first squirrel on TikTok to ever hit 1 million followers. He did every news station around the world. He's helped people. He's helped kids gather joy. And then we started a nonprofit animal rescue called PNut's Freedom Farm to help animals like PNut fight a good fight when they're in a neglected case or they're sitting in a slaughter auction. And he was the cornerstone of our life and our organization. We used his platform to help raise money for the 300 animals we have at our sanctuary.
So you go, what drives somebody or an area to start filing complaints? Well, evidently, Beth had this story. We were going to talk about it on the Bar is Open podcast, but we didn't get a chance to the other night. And it was before the PNut, the squirrel, got put down, got euthanized, and before the Fred, his buddy, the raccoon, got euthanized. Somebody had made a complaint that perhaps they were, not taking care of the animals. They've got a sanctuary, kind of like you think about a dog sanctuary or pet sanctuary or any sort of animal sanctuary. They aren't generally in good condition to begin with. So you bring horses there. I understand what the looks like, but you have to bring those horses and animals back and kind of get them healthy again, right? But let's jump into a couple of articles here. This first one's on the AP. The man who took an orphaned PNut, the squirrel says it was surreal. Officials euthanized his pet. Man who took in an orphaned squirrel and made it a social media star vowed Saturday that New York State decision to seize and euthanize the animal won't go unheard. Good for him. We will make its stance on how this government and New York State utilizes their resources, Mark Longo said in a phone interview. He declined to specify his possible next steps, but officials said he said officials would hear from him soon about what happened to PNut the Squirrel and Fred, a rescued raccoon that was also confiscated and put down. And by the way, they said when they these are the officials, right, that confiscated them. They said that the squirrel had bitten one of them during their handling, and therefore they had to put him down to test him for rabies. This fucking squirrel had lived with that dude for 7 years, the guy and his wife, right? And you go like, what the fuck? On top of that, the goddamn squirrel had 1 million+ followers on TikTok. Are you dumb? It's ridiculous. Like, I didn't know I was going to get up this morning and just want to hate the shit out of people for putting down a squirrel. I saw a dead squirrel in my damn on the driveway the other day, right? Not the driveway, but the street right outside my house. And of course, this just jumped to another story. But you feel bad. I've got squirrels everywhere. They're down here playing and hanging out and shit. So he also says the State Department of Environmental Conservation took the animals Wednesday from Longo's home and animal sanctuary in rural Pine City near the Pennsylvania border. The agency said that it had gotten complaints that wildlife was being kept illegally and potentially unsafely. So he was going through, for the squirrel, he was going through and getting it a permit for like going to schools and stuff like that. Because if you see, I'll show you some stuff here in a minute. The squirrel wears hats, for crying out loud, right? You go, check this out. The squirrel's got a hat on, right? It's not just an average squirrel. He said, honestly, it still feels kind of surreal. The state that I live in actually targeted me and took two of the most beloved animals on this planet away, didn't quarantine them. They took them from my house and just killed them. But again, like I said, they said that it had bitten him. Longo said that he started crying for PNut after the animal's mother was hit by a car in New York City 7 years ago. Tens of thousands of users on Instagram, TikTok, and other social media platforms glimpsed the animal sporting tiny hats, doing tricks, and nibbling on waffles. This squirrel is cute as shit. So let me get out of here real quick. It really is. It's just insanity that you come in, you don't have a conversation. New York's fucking failed. I hate that state. Sorry if you live there, but your state's fucking retarded. And you guys that do this need to vote out every single person that is in office. The dude that is that was like the environmental dude, he's been there since April. Right? He gets paid like $250,000 a year, something like that, to make decisions that ultimately take away family pets. I know it's an unusual type of family pet, right? A squirrel and a raccoon. But I've seen people with like foxes and they can't go back. He tried to release this one back into the wild, like after, he rescued it basically, and it came back missing half a tail, right? So the 7-year-old gray rescue squirrel, so this is on New York Post, gray rescue squirrel, commonly referred to as PNut on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, was put to death, like we just said, to be tested for rabies. Right. PNut's guardian, Mark Longo, took to Instagram to memorialize his pet in a video. Through tears, Longo, with his girlfriend, said PNut was the best thing that ever happened to us. Here's another picture of fucking PNut. No. I'm telling you, right? I mean, look at it. Look at it. What? It's a squirrel, bro. You bring 10 officers to somebody's house because they got a fucking squirrel. You guys are all sorts of insane up there. I don't even know. It's just fucking ridiculous, right? Again, I didn't think I was going to get up this morning and just hate on something. But I did, evidently. And this story, I wasn't even planning on doing this story as my first story, but I'm glad we did. These little episodes are meant to be about 10, 15 minutes long, but we're going to go probably to the max on that real quick today, just simply because there's too much. This is just too much. The authorities definitely went overboard on this one. So my wife just screamed up here, R.I.P. PNut, which is, Beth. Beth. You guys know Beth very well. If she had to tell this story, she'd be crying right now. That's how The whole world is on this. Here's on X. So this is Colin Rugg. I don't know who the hell that is anyway. The owner of PNut the Squirrel explains how New York City officials raided his house, took PNut and his raccoon and killed them. Again, this is that same video. But what I wanted to go is below it and show you some of the stuff. So this is that douchebag that is the acting New York Commissioner of Environmental Conservation. It's not very conservation-y. If you're taking somebody's squirrel, killing them, right? I don't know if there's like supposedly a Trump statement or out there or something like that. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny if it's real. So, but it is kind of funny that somebody at least put it together, right? Even our RFK chimed in. Our government is off the rails. Whoever, I don't know who half these people are. So for PNut, it says Donald Trump. It's just, here's that statement that I was mentioning. This is out on X right now. But yeah, there you go. Do it for PNut. Save the pets. Vote Trump. And these are the other 4 fucking terrible people. Or other 3 terrible people that did this. So, you know, it's just something to think about. If they're willing to go out and take your goddamn pet, you may have a really shitty government, right? The guy's taking care of a squirrel on a farm and a raccoon on a farm, right? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. I feel bad for him. All right, here we go. He is now out hanging, chilling with Harambe. R.I.P. PNut. R.I.P. Fred. Always R.I.P. to Harambe. Dick's out for Harambe. You guys have a good one. We'll catch you next time. Cheers.